Hello, listener, and welcome to this preview of our latest Patreon exclusive episode. To continue the conversation and listen to the full episode, head over to the Beyond the Screenplay Patreon. The link is in the show notes. Hello, patrons, and welcome to this Patreon exclusive episode of Beyond the Screenplay, the podcast where each episode we do a conversational deep dive analysis into a film. Today we are talking about One Battle After Another, the 2025 film written by Paul Thomas Anderson, based on Violin by Thomas Pynchon, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. I'm joined, of course, by the Beyond the Screenplay team, Trisha Rand.
Hello, everyone.
Brian Bittner.
Hello, hello.
And Alex Calleros.
Hi.
All right, so we have a new PTA film, and we are talking about it. And so I first heard about this, I think I saw the trailer, and I don't really remember anything but Leo on a phone screaming for like the whole thing.
That was the first trailer.
And then Alex, you saw it, and we're like, it was really fun. I think it might have done like the PTA thing where it's like entertaining as well as like artistic. And it's like, okay, that's cool. And then was hearing more and more positive things, but still didn't know like what this movie was about. And so I think this is one of those cases where I wish I'd known slightly more about the subject matter, not because I didn't enjoy it, because I did, but I think I was like in the mood for like like escapism, and not in the mood for like extremely topical and the subject matters are relevant to our everyday life. It's like, I don't want everyday life right now. But besides that, this movie is a wild ride that is pretty fun start to finish. When I think about it, I think of like two moments that are like bumps, but otherwise I was having a really good time. And I think it does feel like a evolution, a new turn of Paul Thomas Anderson, who sort of, as we've talked about, I really, after There Will Be Blood, kind of fell off the train a little bit and haven't like hooked into his movies as much since then. This feels like something that I'm on board with and had fun with as well as appreciated, and felt overall less indulgent than some of the other movies of recent years have been, in my opinion, except for a couple moments that we'll talk about. But I think it's also interesting that this is his most expensive movie ever made. The budget is like very big, and you can see that on screen. There's some really kind of epic action set pieces that are done really well. It's fun to see PTA do action and car chases and like hills and all that's like so cool. And it's long. I definitely want to talk about like the structure, but I read that he like actually did a test screening and cut out 8 minutes because of that test screening. And it's like, okay, nice. Because this didn't need to be 8 minutes longer. And I feel like the tightness and the momentum of this was just really like made it a fun ride. So overall, I really enjoyed it. Have like a couple nitpicks. I haven't had time to really think about like the screenwriting of it and the structure of it. And like, I feel like I don't know how I feel about all of that yet, but I had a really good time watching this movie. Alex, because you are largely the reason we're here, tell me about One Battle After Another.
So I am lucky enough to live in Los Angeles, where we get to see movies in all the formats. And I got to see it in its original film format, VistaVision, at the Vista Theater, which is owned by Quentin Tarantino, and it only shows movies on film. And of course, they've been playing for weeks, One Battle After Another, in its original VistaVision format, which is cool because it's kind of like the IMAX ratio. It's 1:5:1, so it's a really square image. And seeing it in the Vista, in that aspect ratio, sitting pretty close to the screen, it was one of those heavenly cinema experiences. I had seen the trailers and I was optimistic. Like it looks like a more entertaining than recent Paul Thomas Anderson movie. But I was just so blown away by how entertaining it was, just how riveted I was, how much of a good time I was having through the course of this movie. Just the audacity of the filmmaking at times, and just that all the actors were such a joy. And it was just a really good time at the movies. And I appreciated, it's insane that he wrote and kind of like made most of this before the year 2025, because it's so predicted the year 2025 in so many ways. But it also felt exciting and revolutionary to be in a theater in the year 2025 watching this movie. It felt like rebellious in and of itself. And so it was just kind of a thrill walking into the theater. I was like, hi. I was like, this is amazing to have this much energy and emotion in a theater experience again, because it is, I saw Tron Ares recently. I would say there was like a negative level of energy and emotion leaving that film screening. And it just those two big movies side by side over the last couple of months has been a real just reminder of, wow, it's really special to get a movie like this. This is not something that comes around very often. And I can't wait to see it again.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Trisha, what about you?
Yeah. Like you guys, I really enjoyed this movie. I had no idea what it was. Not one clue. I saw no trailers for it. I saw a few posters for it. And I was like, wait, so there's a pregnant woman firing a gun. There seems to be a young woman. Can't tell who she is. It's modern. It's a Western. It's a drama, thriller. I don't know what this is. I don't know what it's about. The title gave me nothing. I was like, I don't know what this is about. And yeah, I just lived in my, I don't know, media blackout on whatever it was, literally until I went and sat down in the theater. And I was like, okay, give me something. And I'm very happy with what it is. I think it's really interesting. We can talk about Paul Thomas Anderson's filmography a little if we want, but he actually doesn't make a lot of modern day movies. And This was not set in the modern day originally. The novel's not set in the modern day at all. The novel is actually set in the 80s predominantly, with people reflecting on their time as counter-revolutionaries in the 60s. And so I think that's feels like a natural fit for this thematic material. And I think it's really interesting setting it in the modern day and what you kind of get from that. And it does feel timely. It feels like a punch in the gut. There were some things that annoyed me. Not in the actual storytelling really, but by setting it in the modern day, I feel like you end up having to dance around any actual real world stuff. Sorry, what state are we in? What administration is it? What year is it? What?
Yeah, this movie's set in modern day. It's not set in our reality.
Right.
Exactly. And and that I find left me feeling it felt conspicuous in its lack of specificity. In that sense, where I just was I just feel like this isn't this isn't my world, even though it is recognizable to some degree. So that was just a weird conceit thing that bumped for me. But then everything else I found super gripping. It's so thrilling. It's so exciting. I was on the edge of my seat for so much of the runtime where I was just and it's also really funny. I was laughing. I was dying laughing in the theater. The Christmas Adventurers, oh my dear God. I was this is, I don't know. It's so funny to me.
Sean Penn's performance.
Oh, yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Wild. Just I don't know. What a delight. It's, I don't know. And then Leo's doing a stoner comedy for a solid hour and a half of this movie. It's just, I don't know. It was all really funny to me. I was Benicio del Toro plays a sensei. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? I love all of it. I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was really great and inventive and fun, and also feels it almost is genre defying. I guess it is a thriller, right? It's a political action thriller. Or it's just a PTA movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
It almost like you're saying, it refuses to be anything.
Structurally and in terms of convention, right? It doesn't necessarily you're watching an action movie, you're okay, there's action convention, there's action structure, there's action characters. And it dips its toe into that And then it also was just a drama for some sections. And then it's also just a comedy for some sections. And then it's a thriller, I guess. Like, I was reading reviews of it, and the reviewers were also like, Paul Thomas Anderson's new drama? I don't know what it is. But yeah, it is a joy to watch in so many ways, and feels like an excellent filmmaker in total command of this story and in total command of his craft. And that all the performers really came to play. And so what a ride. My partner was not able to come see it with me. We had like bought tickets, and then our children got sick, as they love to do when you have tickets for something. And so I took a friend instead, and the whole time I'm sitting there like, man, my partner's really going to want to see this. Am I going to watch this again? You know, like pretty soon, like in the next couple of months, will I be wanting to watch this again? And by the end, I was like, run it again.
Yes.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Nice. All right, Brian, what about you?
Worst movie? No. Yeah, like just really funny coming into this movie. You know, as you said, Michael, just like the PTA-ness of it all. I feel like Licorice Pizza is maybe my least favorite, probably my least favorite PTA movie. And so it's been a minute since I've really liked one. And then the trailer, like you said, just like Leo screaming on a phone, and like, I saw the trailer for this a bunch, and also the trailer for Caught Stealing. And I was like, Aronofsky and PTA are doing like goofy runaround action Lebowski movie. Like, what's happening? And then there was like another trailer that was like, hey, maybe this movie's actually a movie. Wouldn't that be nice? And then the hype thing happened, which was just like, this is the greatest film of the last 20 years. And I was like, all right, relax, everybody. And then I saw it, and it was, you know, it was not Licorice Pizza, and it was not the greatest film of the last 20 years, at least to me, but I liked it a whole hell of a lot. And there's this kind of Inherent Vice, Eddington, Civil War.
Yep.
There's this thing that people have been dancing around, including PTA, but nobody has quite got it right. And it feels like this movie finally got it right, which is it's doing its own thing. It's talking about today without pointing directly at it in the way like something like Eddington is. It's, we had a recent conversation on our Patreon film club about like films versus movies. And it's kind of like, it's one of those things that feels like both. It feels like you can go and just have a good time at the theater and laugh and be like, wasn't that funny? Or you can, like, as we're probably going to do, pick it apart thematically and talk about what it means and what it's trying to say and character motivations and structure and all that stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see how I feel about this movie in like 3 years, because I don't know that this is the kind of movie that will ever be something that I like love. But at the same time, it feels like this sort of public opinion about it is infectious. Where people are like, the movie's incredible. I'm like, it was good, yeah. I don't feel like it's a movie I want to like watch a bunch, but at the same time, when I do watch it again, which will probably be in the not too distant future, I'm sure I will have a really good time. So yeah, I'm excited to get into it, and I'm excited to like keep thinking about it. And that's what I like, is a movie that, like I've said this so many times, Coen Brothers, David Lynch, movies that entertain me and that I also want to keep thinking about after they're done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed this preview clip. To continue the conversation and listen to the entire episode, head over to the Beyond the Screenplay Patreon. The link is in the show notes.